Today I'm going to be teaching you about PetClone, Coolice's latest complete Amazon affiliate website package. Now, any of the clone products, this is PetClone or any of the other ones that Coolice has available, they are all easy ways to construct complete Amazon affiliate websites. However, you need to keep in mind that simply building the site off of PetClone is not going to be enough. You have to do something extra beyond just simply installing this software to be able to effectively use it. If you want traffic to get to your websites, or if you want to be able to refer sales and maintain this website long term, then these extra steps that I'm going to teach you about are essentially required. Now, the PetClone package itself is a zip file. If you open up that zip file, you will see what I have right here on my screen. You have the actual package here. It is a folder called PetClone. And then you also have some additional information that goes along with it, like installation information. If you happen to need some additional assistance with the installation, I would highly recommend taking a look at this installation PDF. If for some reason that does not work out and you still cannot get this installed, contact Coolice about it. He will do installations on his clone software completely free. Now, with that said, the actual software here is located in this particular folder. You have another zip file here. It's a backup for PetClone, and then you also have this importbuddy.php file. What you want to do is extract these two files right here to your own computer, and then you want to go and upload these to your website. Now, I have a panel open right here. If you are already working on an existing web hosting site and you are creating a brand new domain name for this PetClone store, then you would want to go into your add-on domains and add whatever domain it is that you created. Another tactic that you can do, though, since I highly recommend for anybody using PetClone to do extra things with their website, to have some customized, unique content there, one option is to create a domain name, build a normal WordPress site on that domain name with content that targets different types of informational or maybe even buyer keyword phrases related to the pet niche that you are going after. But then the actual PetClone store, you can create that in a subdomain on that site. So it would be a subdomain or a subdirectory of your main website. That way you could have a normal WordPress site and the PetClone site existing on the same domain name, but they would not actually be on the same WordPress installation. So you could just have PetClone worrying about one of the WordPress sites and you worry about building up the other one. So maybe you would create an add-on domain name for your main domain that you have registered to build this website. And then maybe you go through and create a subdomain for use with PetClone. Now, this is what I have done. I already have a main website. This is not a website that I'm going to be actually building up. This is a website for one of my existing Amazon plugins. But this pet clone subdomain here should help you to realize that you can install this as a subdomain and then simply use the menus of your main website and your subdomain website to link those two websites up together, and they will essentially appear as the same website. So on this page, I just set up petclone.amzps.com. You could call your subdomain whatever you wanted to. Now it can be accessed by going to petclone.amzps.com, or it could be accessed by going to amzps.com/petclone. So you don't have to use it as a subdomain. You could essentially just create a subdirectory here for your main website that would have the pet clone installation. And that would be the part of your website that is your Amazon affiliate store that you use to refer your sales on various products that you're promoting. So what we're going to do here to get started with is we need to put this zip file and this PHP file on the domain or subdomain that we have created for this pet clone website. So for mine, this is going to be petclone.amzps.com. So I have loaded this up in my FTP software. You can use FTP to do this and just transfer these files over. You want to be in the base directory of whatever domain or subdomain you're going to be using for this pet clone website. If you do not know how to use FTP though, you can do this through cPanel. Just simply go to File Manager right here, and you can upload those two files into the correct location. So once you have those files uploaded, what you can do then is visit your site. You can either go to the subdomain, or you could do it as a subdirectory like this. Either one should help you to reach the actual site that has been set up here. Now what you're really looking to access is this importbuddy.php file. You want to visit this page wherever you have uploaded it, and then you can proceed through the installation of PetClone. Now to get started here, you need to enter your authentication for InputBuddy, and this is going to be simply the word Cool Ice, all in lowercase letters. You'll find this information in the installation file right here. Please enter Cool Ice. So once we have authenticated here, then we simply want to find the backup file that we are going to be restoring. Make sure it is selected here. Click on Next Step. And this will automatically extract all the files. And then we simply proceed on to the next step. Now as you can see up here, this is the address for my site. I'm installing on amzps.com/petclone, so that is what it is set up here for my WordPress address. However you intend to access your site after it is created, if you want to do that through a subdirectory, then install it as a subdirectory. If you want to access it as a subdomain, then install it as a subdomain. Now personally, for purposes of search engine rankings, I prefer to use a subdirectory here, just like I am doing. That way, Google will recognize my main website and my subdirectory website as being the same website, as long as I link them both up together. It will not realize that they are separate websites. This allows you to have two different WordPress installations on the same domain name and have them act as one inner working website. So the next step here is database settings. Now, this part can be a little confusing for some people to create the database. One option that you can do is to simply click on this button here, and it will open up this panel to help you create your database information. You can also do this through cPanel itself. If you just go to My SQL Databases down at the bottom, and then what you're going to be doing here is creating a new database and creating a new user down below. So I'm just going to call this one PetClone, and I'm going to create my database. Now I'm going to go down here and create a user, and I will also call this user PetClone. And then I need to assign a password. You can have it auto-generate it. Often the best idea for a database, because you will not actually be entering this password on a regular basis. So once we have our user, we create it by clicking on this button down here. And then we simply go down here, add user to database. And we want to find the user we created, and we want to find the database that we created, and click on Add. Then we click All Privileges and make changes. So now our user has been inserted into our database. PetClone right here, PetClone with the user inserted into it. So now we can return over here. What we're going to be doing here is entering in the database name and user and all that stuff that we just created. However, make sure you're not just entering PetClone here. You need to enter in the prefix that goes along with it. As you can see, all of mine have an AMZPS in front of it with an underscore. So it's AMZPS underscore PetClone. And that's going to be my database name and my database user. Now, all I need to do is test my database, make sure it says success, and then I can proceed on and actually allow all of this to install. Now this part can take a minute sometimes. This is all of the database information being imported into our website. Once it is finished, then we can just click on Next Step right here. Now that we are finished, the last thing we need to do here is clean up all of these backup files. So just simply click on Clean Up and Remove Temporary Files. And then we are good to go. Now we can go to the website itself. As you can see, by simply going through that installation process, my entire website is now installed and set up and running. The next thing you have left to do, even though you could in a lot of ways stop here, but what I was talking to you about before with making sure you customize your websites and also adding in your own unique content to it, what you can do is actually go in and make it to where your home link could link up to your main web page if you had set it up to have a different WordPress installation for that main website. You can also go through and pick and choose different parts of information that are being spit out through PetClone here. And this allows you to make a website that is more focused. What I mean by focused, you have the entire pet niche as a whole. Obviously, you have a lot of different kinds of products within this pet niche. You have supplies for different kinds of animals: dogs, cats, birds, fish, small animals, reptiles, horses, insects. You also then have all different kinds of products for each of those individual kinds of pets. What this means is that you ultimately don't want to go after the entire pet industry. There's too much of it. Ultimately, you can't really get good search rankings going after the whole pet industry because the competition is too great. What you want to do, though, is figure out a very specific area of the pet industry that you do want to target. So instead of targeting the whole pet industry as a whole, I could go into dogs. Once I am in dogs, I could look at the different kinds of products that are available here, or I can also try to drill down a little bit further. There may be some other types of categories down below that are a little more specific, or I can look up top here in the full category list. Now, this list is much better to use to look at to try to figure out what you want to do. Any one of these different category choices here could potentially be the basis for your entire website. So instead of targeting pets in general, you could have a website that was specifically about aquarium test kits, or about automatic fish feeders, or about cat cages. This gives you a much more narrowed down focus that you can use to target this industry. And then that extra content that you're building, that unique content that you want to add on the main website, that content can be directed towards topics that are popular within whatever sub-niche it is that you have decided to try to target. This allows you to pick up search rankings for those various keyword phrases that are related to that niche, so you can bring in targeted traffic that would actually be interested in purchasing the products that you're promoting. So now that I have explained briefly what narrowing your focus down on these PetClone stores is really all about, we're going to go in and I'm going to show you how to actually accomplish this. So wherever you have PetClone installed, add WP admin to the end of it, and this should get you to your site administration to log into the WordPress dashboard. Now, your initial login information here, if you have just set up this script using the import buddy like I had just showed you, your username is going to be admin and your password is going to be change me, all lowercase letters. You can see right here in the usage instructions that I have my username and my password. So log in with this information. Once you have done so, the first thing that I would really recommend to do is go and change that password. Go to Users and go to your profile. Then you can simply go down to the password and type in something new. This way, at least, other people will not be able to go and then access your site. So now that you have done this, the next thing that we're going to be doing is learning how to actually customize this pet clone system. So first we're going to go up here to the control panel, and we are going to go to main settings. Now on this page, you need to provide your Amazon Access Key ID and your Amazon Secret Access Key. These are your API keys. Now, if you do not already have API keys, what you need to do is log into your Amazon affiliate account. Look for the product advertising tab up at the top. It's a blue tab. Click on that, and then you can proceed from that page to a site called AWS, Amazon Web Services, and create an account there using the exact same login information that you use for your Amazon affiliate account. And then you can create your API key. As soon as you create that API key, make sure you look at and record your secret key as well, because once you have closed down that screen, Amazon will not let you get your secret key again. So this information needs to be provided so this store can update itself. Over time, as new products are released in the subniche that you are targeting on this site, then PetClone will automatically update itself and add new pages, promote new products. Now, to actually get credit for referring any sales, you need to provide your associate ID. This should really be the one thing that you are horribly worried about to get started with, because without it, you're not going to actually be able to earn any commissions on this website. Now, I'm not going to put in my API keys because those are not things that I would like to be sharing in this video. But make sure you are providing yours and then providing your associate ID. It can also be a tracking ID if you would like to track this one particular website. Now down below, these 5 drop-down boxes, you can use these to narrow down the focus of your website. If you wanted to change it from an Amazon.com website to something else, you do have the option of doing that. Personally, I just leave it on Amazon.com because that is the main one that I am usually promoting. The part that you really want to pay attention to, though, is the category targeting. So here with the category targeting, I could go down and find a particular section that I wanted to use as my main niche. Let's say I wanted to go after collars, harnesses, and leashes for dogs. I can select this one particular category right here. And then that's the only thing that's going to be on this website. It's not going to have all that other pet stuff. It's just going to have this one subniche. If I only wanted to promote one particular brand, I can do that. If I want to narrow it down to just the best of the best products, I can do that too. If I only wanted to promote products that are $200 and above on my website, I can have it narrow that out too. Sometimes narrowing down your star rating here to 3 or 4 stars and above and just having it promote those products, sometimes that can be a good idea. It will significantly reduce the amount of products that actually get posted on your site. Now you also have these other options here: show prices, similar products, comments, homepage slideshow, top picks, top categories, styles, brands, and prices. Now I'm going to go ahead and save my changes here, but since I have changed my category targeting, instead of just clicking on Save Changes, I need to click on Execute Updates. Look right down here below. Click on Execute Updates if you have made a change in Amazon locale category targeting or to update the content. So here, my category targeting, I will execute my updates. Oh, it's not going to let me do that without my API keys. 1 second. Okay, I've added in my API keys now and should be able to execute my updates correctly. So now, like it is saying here, this can sometimes take a few minutes to complete. So while it is working on that, I am going to go and show you something else here. What I'm going to be doing is going to Appearance and Editor. Now, as you can see here, I have Store Clone Dark Theme and Store Clone Light Theme. The light theme is the one that is set up by default. However, if you had gone into themes right here and switched it to your dark theme, then you might need to be editing the dark theme instead. So the idea here is, personally, I don't really like to have to recommend for people to update or edit a theme or a plugin like this. However, there are particular things in PetClone that you simply will not be able to edit otherwise. Just to show you what I'm talking about here, I flip back over to my main settings page, and these different options you have here: homepage styles, brands, top categories, etc. This is all stuff that is happening on your main page. Now, I just edited a few things on mine, and as you can see, what I did was actually get rid of a lot of the links that were there. But you can do things like, if you don't like this little featured area here, you can get rid of this stuff. Let me flip back over once again. You have your homepage top picks, your homepage slideshow. So if I go and save those changes and go and look at it again, as you can see, I'm removing those different aspects of this site. So now all I am reduced to is this little Available Now section. I've gotten rid of a lot of the menus and the other features and stuff there, but I still have all of these links up at the top here. I still have a category link, and on this page I still have links that go to different parts of the pet industry that are outside of what I'm actually going for. And so this one menu up at the top here is really the main thing that I go into the theme itself to edit. So now I'm going to click on header over here, header.php. And if you look at the coding for this particular page, don't let this kind of stuff overwhelm you. It's really pretty simple if you just look for the actual words that you're seeing on the live website. So look right up here, home, categories, bestsellers, top rated. So now I'm going to go back to the theme here. As you can see, I've scrolled a decent part of the way down into the coding here. And I have home, categories, bestsellers, top rated, etc. So right here, these are my links up at the top. So if I wanted to get rid of something, if I didn't want to have the categories there anymore, I can delete that and just update this, refresh my page, and then there is no longer a category link there. Now, as you can see, it does scoot the design of the top over. So you may not really want to be removing things, but instead, all you have to do is just replace it with something else. To show you what I'm talking about here, I have this home link. But then if I was building up a separate WordPress site on the actual main domain name, and this was just going to be my Amazon store area, then I would want to link up to the main website with the home link. So here I could just say AMZPS home, or whatever, your actual website is. And then I can change the destination of that home link. So then I could change this one to say store home, for example, and leave that like it was to begin with as far as the URL goes. So to show you what I've done here with just this one simple little adjustment, I now have a home link that goes not to the home page of my store, but it goes to the home page of my actual website instead. And then my store home would go to the home page of the pet store website. Doing it this way, this is what allows you to link up that main domain name and the store and have all that working as though it were one website. And then you can do the same thing on your main website. You simply have a store link that links up to this particular page right here. This allows the main website and the store portion of the website to interlink with each other so people can jump back and forth, and you can make it appear as though it is essentially one website. So now, after I have gone through and made some adjustments like this, you can see the focus of my website has gotten significantly better. I just have these collars and leashes and harnesses now that are being promoted on my site. I have the freedom to go through and remove these different links that are up here, so I can make my website link up to the various things that I actually want it to link up to. I can put some category links up here that go to my content pages on the main website. You can rearrange these however you want to. So the entire point of doing all of this is so you can create a site that is not like what everybody else is creating. I promise you, if you just install this pet clone and leave it at that, if you're not adding the unique content, if you're not going through and customizing this any, you're not going to get Google rankings. You're not going to refer Amazon sales with the software. You have to do that extra work. This is not something that's just going to do everything for you. And honestly, you should think about everything automated out there in this same manner. It's not meant to do everything for you. It is meant to give you shortcuts and to help you save time and work. But you still have to do some of that extra work on your own. Now, I wanted to give you a couple of niche recommendations here to go along with PetClone to help you narrow down your focus even more beyond what you're going to see everybody else doing. So you have the basic categories in PetClone here. All your different category targeting options that are available. As I told you before, any one of these could potentially be a sub-niche for you to target. However, you're still kind of limited here. Within the whole pet industry, you have 100+ categories, but you know, if 100+ people pick up PetClone, which is almost guaranteed to happen, then you could still end up with other people that are targeting the exact same sub-niche that you are targeting. However, you are not limited to only the kind of stuff that you're seeing here. This is just the products that are going to get promoted on your website. This has nothing to do with the actual main website that you'll create to go along with this, whatever would be on the main domain portion of your website. So instead of just going after dog collars, harnesses, and leashes, what I could do is try to take that niche and split it apart even more. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do this, especially when you are dealing with the pet industry. To give you an example of this, just as a general way to split up some of these niches, you can go with pet sizes. And this really works for things like dogs more so than it will for cats, for example. With dogs, you have really tiny dogs and you have much larger dogs. The products that people are going to need and the information that people are going to be looking for will change depending on whether the person has a small dog or whether they have a large dog. So you could narrow down the focus of any one of these dog niches to just target one specific size of dog. Now, to go a little beyond that, and also to give you something that would work for niches other than the dog niches, you have small animals, insects, horses, fish and aquatic pets, dogs, birds, and cats. Think of any one of those niches that I just mentioned to you. Dogs. Again, I can use that as an example, but any of the other animal types would still work there. Go over to Google and find out what different kinds there are. You could do breeds of and then whatever it is that you're searching for in terms of the animal type. Dogs, cats, horses, birds, anything that I was listing off for you before, you should be able to come in here to Google and find a list of breeds for that particular type of animal. So I have a big list up at the top here from Google, and I can keep scrolling on over and get even more. Now, I could also go to any one of these websites. For example, this one here on Pet Finder with the different dog breeds. This thing said that it had 151 different dog breeds. Right here, browse 151 dog breeds. So that is 151 different ways that I could bust apart any one of these dog sub-niches. Look how many dog sub-niches there are. Let's see. 14 of them. $14 dog niches. Times 151 dog breeds. That's 2,114 different possible combinations you could come up with just with dogs alone, using those different categories and using different breeds. Think of that as being your ultra-targeted sub-niche that you can go after. And you can do this with any one of these animal types. With birds, you have your different supplies and sub-niches that go along with it. And then I could go over here and search for breeds of birds. Now, they're not always called breeds with all types of animals, as you can see with birds. Species seems to be a little more appropriate. Now, obviously not all birds would be pets either, so you may want to search for species of pet birds. This would get you a more realistic list that you could then use. So we have, just on this page alone, a number of different kinds of these birds broken down into different sizes, just like I was talking about with the dogs. You might be able to break down birds into different sizes as well. And then these are said to be less common pet birds, and I guess these are the more common ones. Even with this list of common pet birds, we still have 21 of them. And then we also have all the different sub-niches that are available. So we have 7 different sub-niches along with the 21 different species. So we have 147 different possible combinations that could be used just in the bird industry alone. So this should give you a pretty good idea of how you can take any one of these possible niches and break it down into such a specific laser-targeted focus that chances are another person creating that exact same type of website are much, much, much less. Now, it doesn't matter if somebody else does. The whole point of taking this approach is to significantly reduce that number so you have less competition. It's a simple numbers game here. Now, obviously, you would want to do some research before you actually decide on a particular niche to try to target. Before you decided you wanted to go after pit bull training and behavior aids, for example, you would want to make sure that there is a demand for pit bull training and behavior aids. So, go over to Google, use their keyword planner, and do some searching for pit bull related keywords. Do some searching for training and behavior aid related keywords. Do some searching for both of those used together. See what kind of search traffic you can find. As long as you can find at least 300 to 500 monthly searches going for any one of these narrow focus niches that you have picked out, that should be a good starting point. That's not going to be the only traffic you have the access to, but it's a good starting point to build a website about that subject. And then the different pages you're building on your website would target different ideas within that sub-niche. And that's how you build up the extra traffic. That's how you're not limited to just 300 to 500 people from the main keyword phrase that you're targeting. You get all the other phrases that go along with it. So now, I hope after all of this, you should have a pretty good idea of how to get PetClone set up, and also how you can go about selecting a highly focused sub-niche to use, and even how you can begin to customize what you are building here. At the very, very, very least, once again, make sure you have some kind of unique, useful content on this site beyond what is being created with the PetClone software. Ultimately, the information that is being displayed on this page is mostly information that's coming off of Amazon. And Amazon ultimately wants to see more than that. They want to see that you're putting forth an effort with the sites that you build to actually bring in people to your site to a useful website to direct them along to a sale. Amazon does not want you to just build pages targeting their products, using their content, and doing nothing else but that. So make sure you get more creative, whether that is building other pages on your site that just target different informational keyword phrases relating to your sub-niche, or you could even decide to go into some of these individual product pages and add your own unique custom content to them, to where these pages are not just going to be nothing but what Amazon can spit out for you. By putting forth the extra work and effort, you're going to be able to bypass a ton of the competition. You're going to be able to build a site that people are actually interested in looking at and possibly even revisiting and telling their friends about. And you will even get a site that has a much, much, much better potential for getting those search rankings and bringing people in and converting them into Amazon commissions. So again, I hope you have taken away something useful from my training today. I appreciate you picking up PetClone through my link, and you will always have access to this particular training. Even if you're not using PetClone, if you decide to go for a different one of the clone products from Cool Ice, you can still apply this exact training to any one of them. It's not only limited to this one particular title. Thank you again for watching. I hope you have a great day.